that I got this experience because they didn't do this, and they just feel like I just got kind of a perspective on law that they don't get, knowing how the judge reasons and what things she sees in the attorneys that are positive and negative. And I'm definitely going to make sure I don't make some of the mistakes she pointed out to me that other attorneys made. So that's what I can do.
And do you remember how far in advance you applied for
it? Okay, they're going to kill me. But it was really only maybe 6 weeks. But the thing was, I had actually identified this commissioner ahead of time and was planning on sending her my materials cold. And right at that time, she posted on the LCS website. So it was really easy. I just applied for the job that I was literally going to go send my papers in that week. So I knew she was looking for someone. And if you're interested in family law, I know she is desperate to get somebody else in there. She doesn't have anybody this semester. She would love to have someone next semester. She will really give you the full scope of family law. So.
To follow up on Tracy said, I've had opportunities to visit many of these courts, and I think they're incredibly fascinating places. And the opportunity that Tracy and other externs have to engage with the parties, it can be really life-changing for externs and students, as I talked about. So I encourage you to do that. But would also say that regardless of which court you consider working in, I have to say that these are all incredibly valuable experiences. As I said, meeting with employers and talking to them about the skill sets that they look for in hiring individuals. To a person, everyone says having a judicial externship on your resume really improves your employability. It really makes you much more attractive.
Are there any questions, either for Tracy or for us?
I have a quick question. What is the difference between internship and externship except for the credit? Is there, like, judges prefer to take interns versus externs? Or is it just the credit?
It's really just the credit, and so, it's really just the credit. So you'll find in the summer in particular, there are a lot of students volunteering. A lot of 1Ls volunteer because they're not eligible for credit, and that's true at most law schools, not just in the Hague. So you'll find a lot of 1Ls volunteering as interns. And the court might call them judicial externs, because from the court's perspective, it's all the same, right? You're a student in chambers, they're giving you the same assignment. But from our perspective, it's different because you have this whole administrative process, and you either are in a class or not in a class. But from the court's perspective, it's the same. You're a student, you're smart, they're going to give you work, they're going to rely on the results.
But the externship, you kind of keep in touch with school and you have this class. But the internship, you don't need to submit a research paper at the end.
It's complete. If you're volunteering, it is a relationship between you and the judge, or you and the court. It's only when you're doing it for credit that we are involved in that process, and that because it's academic credit like you would be getting for contracts or torts, and so we need to monitor that, make sure you're getting a substantive experience that would be appropriate for us to award academic credit.
It has to be an academic.
How many credits?
It ranges.
It depends on
It depends on how many hours. So it could be 10 hours, it could be 15 hours. It's up to the limit of externship credits you have to use and to your discretion. But ultimately, if you're doing an externship, the check-ins, the classes, the GPA requirements, the submissions on your part are all designed to make sure that the experience is sufficiently academically rigorous so that we know an opportunity for which you are paying to receive academic credit is valuable. Does that make sense?
Can I say something about that too? I found the class wonderful. Like, I had people to check in with, and it really forced me to sit down once a week, write things down, and reflect on my experience and give it back. And I think I've done other externships, but I found this one far more reflective and beneficial in a learning experience because I took the class.
The class is once a week?
No, it was. We did it in summer, so it was only 2, but it's only 3 times a semester,
Okay,
right?
okay,
Yeah.
You just mentioned
No, you have to like send a report once a week of your hours, and like generally just what you're doing. But it's not like some big thing. It's like a thing you fill out. Like a form.
You have your hand up there in the back.
Are there part-time judicial externships so that you're like in school and working at the same time?
Absolutely. So if you're only working, say, 10 hours a week for a particular judge, you can absolutely take courses at the same time. You could be doing 5 hours a week. It really depends, I think, on the judge's needs, right?
Yeah, I will say that the judges will prefer to take you as many hours as you can possibly give them.
Okay.
So students where they've only had 1 day typically 2 days a week, it tends not to be as successful an experience as someone who can be there at least 3 days a week or every morning or even full time. Because of the pace of the court and the kinds of assignments they're giving you, they kind of want you there on a regular basis. If you're only there once a week, it's just not enough. They can't give you the really important stuff because you're not there often enough to turn things around quickly enough. But because you're earning units, you're reducing the number of hours you need to be in the classroom, right? So if you're doing this for 6 units, then you then need to take classes for the remaining however many units of the semester, 9 units or whatever it is. So that's how you create the space in your time to do this, is because it's fewer classroom units. But I would say most of the courts are going to want you there at least half time.
How many hours a week do you need to have 6 units?
So it's not so much per week, it's per unit. So if you're doing it for 6, it's 6 times 45.
So that's 270.
Divided by the 14-week semester, and that gives you the...
It's roughly 10 hours a week.
Except
So-
you also have to factor in all those court holidays, and especially in the spring semester, there are several of them, especially in the state court system. There are court holidays, there are furlough days, so you want to make sure when you're calculating that you take that into account.
And actually, one question I had, if a student wanted to do it full time, would they have requirements any different? If you wanted to?
I mean, and you might want to talk to us, and frankly, go talk to the folks in Law Student Services as well from an academic advising perspective to find out, does it make sense for you to use all of your externship units here? You know, were you thinking about doing another externship or working at one of our on-campus clinics? Do you have other required courses that you need to fit into your schedule, or are there courses for your certificate program that are only offered in the semester when you're planning to do this? And so from an academic perspective, it might not make sense for you to put all your eggs in this basket. And there are plenty of students who have, frankly, registered for fewer units than they're working. They actually put in the hours to earn 6, but they only elected to take it for 4 because they wanted to save a balance of hours, or they didn't, you know, and there are other reasons why they might want to hang on to those hours. So that's fine. You know, you need to meet the requirements for the units you registered for, but if you want to work more, as long as you're not sacrificing quality in any of the other areas of your life, that's fine with us.
Is the same general principle that summer positions are more competitive than school year ones apply to the judicial?
Yes, summer are definitely more competitive because in addition to students from neighboring schools, you now have students from all across the country who think it would be great to spend a summer in the Bay Area. And so you now are competing with the national pool. You're competing with a lot of 1Ls in the mix. So it's a bigger pool of folks. And some of the judges like to look at those out-of-town students in the summer because they know they have access to local students during the school year. And so the only chance they have to bring some of these other students in is during the summer. We certainly have students who do them in the summer, so it's not to say the positions are not available, but it does become more competitive. You want to apply that much earlier. I will also say, just from what I've observed, in some ways, I like the semester positions better in that they're longer. And so you see more things unfold. It may be that bench memo you prepared for the judge behind the scenes, finally, you're there for the oral argument, and then you're there for when the judge prepares the order. You can, you know, see the lifespan of the case more than you can if you're only there for, you know, the 8 or 10 weeks that a summer is. Summer's pretty quick. So if you have that flexibility, you know, or apply for summer. If you don't get it, apply for fall, or, you know, if the positions are offered fall, spring, and summer.
I have a question regarding the court closures. Would you suggest that we branch out to other counties to
Yeah. So in San Francisco, as you may have heard, and I alluded to the new judicial assignments, the San Francisco Superior Court has a budget situation, and so they're closing some of the courtrooms. The courtrooms who are open are quite busy and will continue to need assistance. Absolutely, and you should continue to apply here. But to the extent you are flexible, I would encourage you to look at some of the other counties and surrounding areas that frankly don't get as many applications. I don't think Alameda or Marin or San Mateo counties, for example, are getting the same volume of applications that San Francisco is.
Again, they're incredible courtrooms. We've made some work.
Yeah. Any other questions?
at other factors, like say your grades aren't exactly stellar?
It varies. Some judges prefer only stellar grades, and some judges are really looking at the whole candidate and what you have to offer and what is happening in their courtroom. So for example, it's family court, and they want to make sure you've taken certain courses or you have the right temperament or demeanor for that kind of work and might look at other factors. It's unique to the judge. Oh, and Daniel just walked in, so let me very quickly at least introduce you because I know we're running short on time. This is Daniel Klausner, who just fought traffic to be here with us today, and he worked for U.S. Magistrate Judge Maria Elena James. So I don't know if you want to just come up real quick and say a word and maybe hang around after for questions.
Sure. So, awesome experience. I highly advise anybody who has the opportunity to apply to do so. Be prepared to work extremely hard, prepared to be as open and honest about your process as far as writing with whoever you're working with. And if you get a chance to take it, don't hesitate.
Yeah. So thank you for coming. Please come and ask questions, and hopefully Daniel and Trace will stick around for a minute or two if you have questions.